and it changes people for the good or the bad. And what I'm saying is that the information that we receive has made us worse, and we receive it from the Caucasian and from the child. But the information that the Bible really talks about is supposed to make us great people. So when we read the Torah, now we understand how to carry ourselves. For example, right? Leviticus 18 and 16. Well, if I asked you both, what is your definition of love? What would you guys say? I want you to understand that information, for example, we go to school to get a degree to give us an an opportunity to have gainful employment, right? I mean, the motivation to go to school is just to be able to compete for employment, right? Nobody just goes to school to get a degree and just sit at home, right? So what I'm saying is information is power, right? Like the term, if you want to hide the truth from so-called black people, you put it in a book. And we're reading a book that gives truth about our history that we're not known about. So I'm asking the question to prove a point. If I asked you, because he doesn't know, if I would ask you as a woman, as a so-called black woman in America, your definition of love, what would that be? Freedom. So love is freedom. Do we have freedom in America? Do white people have freedom in America? Okay, well, I mean, but you're a student, you observe the community, right? Your interaction with, I'm asking you this. So your interaction with the government of America, is it the same experience that a Caucasian woman would have? Come on, sister, you gotta know something. You don't watch social media? Social media will tell you, if you pay attention and you look around in your community, that we don't have the same experience with the government, right? But I'm gonna give you something with love. When we look at the love that we were taught from the Creator, this is what the love is. Read.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor.
No, we don't need any translation. I bring this out all the time because this is the problem, right? The brother made a point that we're not going to paint the picture. So every time we get slaughtered in America, they put the narrative that we deserved it. That we did something to promote that atrocity of our people. And I'm going to show you something that if our community learn true love, because the scripture teaches us, our Creator told us that love is keeping His commandments, which makes us a civil society. When we keep His culture, the culture that we were given, because a lot of people say, oh, black culture. The black culture was given to us by our oppressor. The same time that we were given it by Jesus. So when we talk about black culture, it's not really black culture. Because it's based on a system built to oppress us. I'm going to show you something. You got that? Give me a second. Let me read this real quick and I got you. Real quick. One thing, and I want you to understand that when we talk about love, if we implement the love that the Most High is going to change our community. This is why you see change right here. This is a revolution. People are have a zeal with knowledge. Right? Read.
Leviticus 19 and 16 in the NLT. Do not spread slanderous gossip among your people.
Killed all the time. Slander gets us killed and gets us in issues all the time, right? Read.
Do not stand idly by when your neighbor's life.
Commandment, which is love, that we're not supposed to stand idly by and watch our brother or our sister come to harm.
That's right.
Come to harm. So when we say love, the Bible teaches us that love is an action that has to be displayed inwardly and outwardly. And when we have a standard, now we can agree to disagree, we can build. If we have been lied to, I ask you where you're from. For example, where are you from? Yeah, where do your people come from? No, where do you come from? Your forefathers, where do they come from? Do you know your history? But what part of it? But my question is, brother. Yes, sir. What do you mean? What you mean? What do we call it? No, but I'm saying that as historically speaking, we have you heard of the word migration? Yeah. I mean, that happens. We see it today. How many foreigners do you see coming to America? I mean, that's not. I mean, we have a such thing called as a passport, right? So what's the purpose of a passport? To migrate from one part of the earth to the other, right? So we can see that activity today, right? Okay. Well, here's what's your name? Yeah. Hey, I've been talking before. Yeah. Hey, listen. Hey, that's real. Listen. Hey, brother, listen. Yeah, hey, listen, I'm a hybrid. Listen, I go everywhere and I fit in somehow. So, but. Yeah. Hold on, brother. Before I deal with that, I just want to say one thing real quick. Pertaining to love, and I'm gonna address what you said. Pertaining to love, do you believe? I got you. Do you believe if we implement this love that's prescribed by the Creator, do you think that this will bring change to our community? So don't you think that this is something that you need to study a little bit, look into? Because whether you believe it, what you mean? But I asked you a little bit, so you didn't ask me an answer, brother. Right, and you didn't give me an answer. That's love to you. She said freedom, by the way. She said freedom. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, I got you. Hey, man, exactly. Yeah. But that's not true. That's not true. Because here's the thing, though. Yeah. So you're the exception, is what you're saying. You're the exception. But see, all these Go ahead, man. I'll let you finish. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
I wanted to get it for them because they actually have a bridge.
So when you kiss, I will agree to you to an extent, but my thing is we're not taught how to properly love our people. Because you mentioned that your peers are in prison for committing heinous crimes. And I'm telling you that I'm surrounded by brothers who have committed heinous crimes, and the only thing that changed their behavior is true love according to the scriptures. And I'm trying to show you something, that at bare minimum, when we go to school, we study what? Philosophy. And what I tell people to bridge the gap, because I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just trying to show you that our people need the wisdom in this book. But that's not true, because the people that he just taught didn't have that wisdom. So I'm asking you, are you the exception? Okay, give me Leviticus 19 real quick. You got something? You trying to get us in trouble, brother? You trying to implicate? I don't know if this is statute of limitation. I don't know if this is statute of limitation. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not true. Okay, okay, yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. But you know what, we don't do that? I'm going to show you what. Give me Leviticus 19 and 18. Yeah, but the true survival is unity. If we unify, that's how we truly survive, right? But this book unifies our community. Watch this. Okay, read this.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18.
Wisdom was imputed to our children. If you read this wisdom and you teach it to your children, or in our community as a whole, we get rid of black on black crime. There's no need for us to go to jail for killing each other. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you some. Read.
Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against a fellow. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do you see that, brother? You just mentioned to me that you have your peers, a group of your peers are in jail for seeking revenge on their own people. No? Okay, well, I apologize. To kill their people and to hurt their people. Okay. Right. I agree with you. We can agree on that. But who put us in survival mode? Right. And the same system, I'm gonna give me Psalms 83, and I'm gonna leave you with this because I know you probably, I don't want to take too much of your time. In the Bible, the system that you're talking about was already prophesied in the Bible, and we're just trying to bridge the gap so they're aware of your enemies. And the Bible prescribes how to overcome the system. But I'm gonna show you the system in the Bible. Psalms 83.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2. For lo, your enemies make a tumult, and they that hate you have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against your people.
Watch this. I want you to follow me, okay? Because again, you made a comment. I'm going back to your comment every single time. The victor writes history. And the victor said that we are niggers, we're spicks, we're colored, we're Negro, we're less than, we're 1/5 of a human being. That's what the victor has painted for us. This is our culture in America. And I'm showing you that the world has to be held accountable for that. And Christianity is not going to do it. Islam is not going to do it. You see what I'm saying? Read it again.
Psalms 83, verse 3. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against your people.
Against our people. And I showed you I can show you in prophecy where it says this book prophesied that our people were going to be sold to our enemies. And then our enemies gave us religion. Our enemies was the one that gave us religion. Because if the religion was true, or the theology was true, then they would say that Christ is so good black man, that the real Jews are black. They've been lying, right? Because they want you to belongs to us.
Racial slurs and stuff like that. They're focusing more so.
They have taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted against your hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Cut them off from being a nation. If I ask you where you're from, you don't know. Where are you from? What's your nationality? What's your nationality? This is Brother Zach Omar. What part of you? What part of you are you from? It's ATL. Okay. So you see what I'm saying? Some people will say, I'm African American. Some people will say, I'm a Negro. Some people will say, I'm Dominican, Puerto Rican, I'm African. I'm all these different things, right? But these things were introduced to divide the people, right? Keep reading.
It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
See, now it's Jewish. It's not Israelite. It's Jewish or Israeli. So what I'm saying is the Bible is the blueprint for us to overcome the system that you and I hate. You know what I'm saying? And the Bible said that the government, the system, is a collective effort, not just by the colonizers here. The East Indians did it, the Arab did it, the Egyptians did it. Think about that. Nobody comes for our aid. Remember, Malcolm X went to the Union and pleaded with one nation to what? Plead our cause for human rights violation. Which nation has ever come for our aid? Come on, man. We all we got. You see what I'm saying? That's why I don't get into the semantics of politics and sexuality. I get to the truth. Because the truth is what's going to bridge the gap. You see what I'm saying? The same way that I will talk to you, I will talk to someone that prescribes to homosexuality. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that when we see each other, it's love. But I don't want to be confused because your love will be different from mine. So I just want to set the standard. Read the Bible. Israel, so-called blessed Hispanics, he set a standard for us. So that in our community, there's no chaos, there's no confusion. You see what I'm saying? That's why we need a land to ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? We can't. If you did in a diverse community with it's Indians or the HOA, for example, You think Asians care about us? Yeah, you think Asians are gonna push the agenda for blacks and Hispanics in America? Where have I ever done that? You think right now we're pleading the cause of Palestinians? When have Palestinians ever pleaded the cause for us? When has Gaza ever said, you know what, those black people in America, they need some relief? When has the UN ever give a damn about us? Yeah, yes sir. Go ahead, man. What you mean? No, come on, come on. Yeah, go ahead. You got it, huh? This brother's powerful, right? Come on.
Where you guys going? Right. No, what do you mean by the book, though? Yeah. You know when this was actually created? Tell me the date, 1660. So that wouldn't be it would be more so, did we live according to the customs and standards? Right. That would be the question you should ask.
Let's move this real quick.
Exactly. When you look at all the Western African religions, it's all based on biblical principles. Because I'm talking about according to our tribes, not, you know what I'm saying?
This ain't no King James Bible.
Yes, that's the King James Bible.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, our people, they strip the ability for us to be able to read in a certain time frame.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, the person that translated this was a black person.
Right. It was a group of people that transcribed that old language.
Right, and they were black people.
I got it, because they came to us for that knowledge. They didn't know the knowledge. We had to do that for them.
Right. But they people try to paint it as if we literally was completely docile from a language. When we look at the swarthy princes of Europe, all of them were black people. So our people weren't just automatically turned dumb and then just, you know what I'm saying, didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? If anything, they took us from the sources in which it was translated from. It is. Because I can go to Hebrew and see if what we're not saying this is 100% infallible. We're not saying this is not infallible. There's it's never 100% accurate. What's up, Aliyah? Yeah, so because you gotta understand, certain things don't translate. Yeah. Exactly. And that's why you see certain things italicized. That means it was translated to the best of my ability. Exactly. Prepositions mainly. Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, man. But with this book, what was the only book they told us we could read in slavery time? So we go back to the 1800s, 1700s.
Well, that's a difficult question, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because only the English had a hardcore type of bondage, where they just wanted you dumb and working. You gotta understand, the Haitians didn't have that form of slavery. Sent back to France to be educated. They didn't have this chattel type slavery. So when you're looking at black people in general, you gotta understand, even the person who created our form of understanding, he was a Haitian man. So you gotta understand, it's kind of difficult to answer those questions knowing that we literally had people to make it seem like a nigga was just dumb. Yeah. Okay.
But what I'm saying is, it was only one book they allowed us to read.
That's not true though. That's what I'm saying. I don't agree with it.
If you would have got caught reading any book, they was gonna chop your hands off, whip you, but you
Brother,
could have read the Bible.
Brother, hold on. You couldn't have read the Bible because they had a form called the slave Bible, which he got right here through the Spirit. They had a slave Bible, meaning the slave Bible. I'm gonna let it read it for you right quick. And this is why I say I can't agree with that point, because only a certain group of people treated their slaves like that. And it was mainly the English American people. But watch this. This is the book that you trying to, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the whole Bible, it was this one right here. Like I said, I ain't gonna lie. That's not true though. That's what I'm saying. Nat Turner read more than just that book.
That's right.
This is NPR.org. The title is The Slave Bible from the 1800s Omitted Key Passages That Could Incite Rebellion.
One just this. They just give us this and said, hey, you can only read this. They took things exactly. So what we're trying to show you is, bro, we never went far from the education. So, and they also sent certain slaves to be educated to get information to bring back to them.
Right.
So with that being said, let's go back to your question, because this is the part that we want to correlate with. Let's stop talking about this for a minute and just talking about plain history for a second, right? Prior to America, we know that we came to West Africa, correct? Prior to America, black people. I'm only talking about these black people right here, the three that you see on this sign right here. Yeah. Prior to America, the people that were enslaved that you see right here, we were in West Africa in the 1400s, correct? I'm not saying all. I'm just talking about ethnic groups of people who created civilizations. Victim of the transatlantic slave trades. West Africa, the majority, West Africa. Where did we come from? Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Oh, I'm looking at your phone, so I'm pointing at this sign. This is the sign I was looking for. I'm tweaking, yeah. Look. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Because if you see, we got Native Americans here. Okay, so let's take away the Native Americans. Let's talk about specifically the Negro tribe. We understand that Sicarii was here, right? We understand that the Sicarii was here. But we talking about these people who had civilizations in West Africa. Okay, cool. So prior to that, did you know that nobody lived or built any type of civilization? There's no archaeology can be found on the west coast of Africa prior to 600 AD. Exactly. In West Africa specifically. Exactly. Right. So what I'm trying to show you is a migration according to history. Right? So prior to, because we understand that these people that you see outside of the Negro tribes, right? Those people that you see, we understand them to be here 722 BC according to history. So let's get them off of what we're talking about right now, and let's go to proving who we really are, right? The Southern Kingdom. So when you look at that, it literally tells us nobody lived here in West Africa until after 600 AD. Where did these people come from? And we're talking about the Phoenician people as well, right? The Phoenician people. AD. All right, cool. So when you look at history before that, we understand that the Romans took over basically the main part of the earth during that time, which is the Middle Asia, right? All of that was basically conquered in the language. So when we understand that these people had to migrate somewhere, where did they come from? We got to look at the different wars that caused people to scatter, correct? Right. And so happened, these Negro people are the same people who got kicked out of the land of Israel with the Phoenician people that was living amongst them, right? So when we look at it, if you look at the Roman-Jewish wars, which is from 66 AD to 73 AD, the Romans came against a rebellion of Jews, right? When they went to war, the Jews lost the war to Titus Vespasian and his people. If I'm getting kicked out of the land and everything in the city burnt, where can I go? I can go somewhere, but I can't go east because why? Civilization is there. I can't go north, why? Because civilization is there. I have to go further west, right? Now that's where you get in the Moors. They started to migrate and build kingdoms. Now in the 1200s, you got the Mali Empire. The Songhai and all of these different places. So when we look at civilization in West Africa, we understand that we had to been the ones that was the real Jews, because when the Jews got kicked out of the land, they fled west into West Africa and Europe. The swarthy princes and all of those people that you read about. So this is how we know that we are the real Jews, and the customs that we had prior to people trying to destroy us, this is us that's actually doing it. And we also proved that the Jews translated the Greek Septuagint. They translated the Masoretic text and all of these ancient documents, the Textus Receptus, which was later on, because the Textus Receptus was basically created in 1500. So that's still fairly new, the Textus Receptus, a Greek translation of the New Testament, right? But watch this.
It's the book of the prophet Micah, chapter 4, the 10th verse.
And this is the main reason why we believe in this Bible, because for an example, if I tell you somebody on a green bike is going to come right here and fall in front of us, and it happened, that's a prophecy, correct? Especially if I say, hey, the Lord told me this is going to happen, we see it happen, right? We see millions of those things happening in this Bible, where somebody tell us something beforehand and we see it happen later. You see what I'm saying? Watch this.
The book of the prophet Micah, chapter 4, verse 10. Like a woman in travail, now shall you go forth out of the city.
Now shall you go forth out of the city. This is a prophecy of us having to lose our land, having to lose everything due to our that we broke with God. Basically what he was trying to tell you. He said that was our wisdom. That was the contract that we made with God, our people. Go ahead.
It says, for now shall you go forth out of the city, and you shall dwell in the fields.
Say what? I said dwell in the field. What field is this talking about? Go ahead.
And you shall dwell in the field, and you shall go even to Babylon.
It said even to Babylon. It said you're going to live in the field for a time, but after you live in this field, you're going to Babylon, which is America. Right? And we got all type of correlations in history showing you that Babylon is correlated to America. Even all of the top scholars can identify America with Babylon. That's right. Right, go ahead.
It says, and you shall dwell in the field, which is West Africa. And you shall go even to Babylon, which is America. There shall you be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem you from the hand of your enemies.
In Babylon. And he said, in that spot, this is where we're going to be redeemed. So we don't believe in this concept where niggas die, go to heaven, and all this stuff. All of that Greek mythology that they added to Christianity. We don't believe in that. We believe that he's going to, like Moses did with the Israelites, bring us from America, take us back to our land, but this time it's going to be forever. That makes sense? Yeah. So that's the purpose of Christ and all of that. He's coming to save his people. This is why we demonize this image, because we know that he's going to be a black man actually coming to save his people out of the land of Babylon. That makes sense? We appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, praise it. Appreciate y'all time too. Right. So, you ready, Memphis?
Come.
All right, we're gonna get you next. And with that, form your Shalam. Form your Shalam. Form your Shalam. Form your Shalam. All praise. Do you want a specific reader, or you want to pick your readers?
It don't matter. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You got it? Okay, boom.
Hey, you record this on this phone?
Naka Watch is gonna make sure y'all replace the lines. Yeah, we got flyers already out.
And then when the clock come up, you give it.
Anybody else want to read for the brother right quick? Volunteer reader?
Right here.
Come on.
All praise to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh. And we do so in the by Hashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Who we are? We are the Hebrew Israelites And we come out here to teach our people that we are God's chosen people. And we come out here to realize and ask ourselves why we've been cast down in the last days. And why is it that we don't know who we are? Why is it that we don't know what landmass we come from? Well, we like to say we from Africa, but we don't know what part of Africa we come from, right? So this is what we come out here to do. Give me the book of Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 4, and then give me the book of Job chapter 8 verse 8. You know what I'm saying? Because when you see the Israelites, you see the prophets coming out week in and week out, and we coming out here trying to show our people some history. You know what I'm saying? This is what you call every weekend black, so-called black history. And we looking for the people who want to learn their history. Hey, big dog, I can ask you a question. You know what I'm saying? And we looking for those who really care about their people, because a lot of people say they love black history, but the only time we really love black history is during the month of February, and the only person we shouldn't care about is Martin Luther King. Right? So read what you got.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 4. Hear ye the word of the Lord, O house of Jacob, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel.
So we calling for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know what I'm saying, who fit the description of the slave trade, to come hear the word of the Lord. Read what you got.
This is the mighty book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age.
So we coming out here inquiring of our people to, hey, come learn about the former age. Come learn about why our people went into slavery. Hey, big dog, I can ask you a quick question real quick. Come ask me, bro. What's up, bro? How you doing, man? What's your name, bro? Mark. That's a nice name, bro. It's a man in the Bible by the name of Saint Mark. So real quick, Mark, if I can ask you, bro, what's your nationality, big dog? What's your nationality? What's your race or ethnicity do you descend from? If you could think about that. Yeah, your race. So when you go apply for a job, right? So your race is black. So that's what people you come from, the people are black. That's the race you categorized as in America, right? So let's say prior to America, we came over here, quote unquote, in 1619, right? So in 1618, what was your ethnicity or what was your race? Huh? Mandingo? So can you find Mandingo in the Bible? Not really, right? So this is what we got to realize. Give me the book of Psalms chapter 100, right? And start at verse 3. God created all people. You agree with that, right? So hold on. So you don't believe in God? So you believe in a higher power? Right, so do you believe that we were created by somebody, or you think we just popped up out the blood work? So I'm going to show you something, bro. Read this. Psalms 100, verse 3.
This is Psalm chapter 100, verse 3. Know ye that the Lord He is God. It is He that hath made us.
So it is the Most High God that created us. Read.
And not we ourselves.
And not we ourselves. So you see all these people walking up and down this belt line, right? Nobody created themselves. In the beginning, God created us, right? So if God created us and named us, we have to go by the name that He called us. So when you look on this sign, right, and hopefully you learn something today and you receive it with a humble mentality, right? So you just came and said you black. But when you think about this, right, that also the tribe of Judah would be the so-called American blacks of the Bible today, right? But this is the issue with that, right? Read that verse again in Job. This is what we learning about, because when you look at this, you got a confusion face right here. Because you see Judah. I'm finna show you that. That's an excellent question. So you got to understand something. When you speak about are you familiar with the Israelites in the Bible? So what you know about the Israelites in the Bible? The slave trade, right? Right, it's a black man who's similar to yourself, right? Fine brass as if he burnt in the furnace. So he'll be in direct skin tone to your correlation, right? So you got to understand that. So watch this, bro. Read that again.
Job chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age.
So it's time for you, Mark, to inquire of the former age. So prior to slavery and prior to everything we've been taught, let's go take a deep root, because you are a descendant of the slaves, right? So you're not a descendant of the slaves. Nobody in your family went to slavery. Not really. So how did you get to America? You and your family just sailed over here on y'all own personal yacht boat. They flew here. What about their ancestors? So what landmass are your people from? So you finna say Sierra Leone, right? So is that not the Gold Coast that they call the Gold Coast? Right, so in the area of Sierra Leone as well, right? Did not some of the people who got freed here from slavery go to Sierra Leone in West Africa?
Well, British
Right, but I'm saying there were people who came from this landmass that went and dwelt in Sierra Leone, right? So, right, this is what I'm saying. And also, this is how I know it kind of correlates with you, right? Because when I asked you what your race was, you're telling me you black.
Right.
That's what you classified as in America, but that's not what your God-given race is. That's not what your nationality, and that's not what your heritage is. So what I'm showing you is, according to the Bible, we are the Israelites. Do you come from African descent? What part of Africa you come from? And what? All right. So what was their name before Sierra Leone? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Give me Isaiah 1.
17 verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
So the Bible prophesied that the Israelites would
thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
He also said he was going to cause the Israelites to serve their enemy, meaning he was going to...
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel do not know.
What?
But Israel do not know.
And this is another thing with that, Mark. If I asked a real pure breed African off the rip, what was his ethnicity, what was his race, what was his nationality, he'll come straight off the rip telling me either he from Egypt, he from Kush, you know what I'm saying, he from Libya, he from wherever part. A real African wouldn't just come up here and say, I'm black, and then go into other things. So you got to understand that you're saying you might be a... that you actually might be an Israelite.
My people do not consider.
He said the Israelites don't even consider. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, truth be told, a lot of people don't want to take heed to this because why? Laws to statutes and commandments, right? So now, real quick, give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 32, and then give me Exodus 11. Because you got to understand, when you think about the original Africans, you know what I'm saying? Would you say you come from Negro descent? So, there's Judah, right? So and that's what I was going to get to with them, right? That is Judah, bro. Them people are descendants of slaves. Because and then what you got to understand, how much information do you know about that landmass, right? Somebody got a Bible dictionary out here? You say you're not who? We're not Christian or Muslim, so we're not out here, you know what I'm saying? And we speaking strictly on nationality, right? So give me Ham in the Bible. Israelites, and when we just read in Isaiah 1 and 3, this is how we know you kind of fit in the description of the people you don't want to be a part of, because your information not lining up and you don't concretely know, you know what I'm saying, the true history about the people that you claiming to be from, right? So watch this, read this real quick.
Ham.
So Ham is the forefather of the so-called Africans. Did you know that?
Is he?
And that's what I'm saying. Can you read?
The son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
Not the who?
Not the Negroes.
So you got to understand something, Mark. Go ahead. We're not dealing with Mesa Musa. Ham is the So this is the time, like he's way before that. You know what I'm saying? This is in the beginning of time. He's way before. Thousands and thousands of years ago, them couple years before, you know what I'm saying? What you mean he was before Jesus Christ came? The wrong.
But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Did what?
The Egyptians and Israel.
When it comes to the Hamites, I put a distinction between us, right? And that's like I'm trying to. You descend from what people you come from. You fit the category of us. The brothers out here from 5-10 years prior, if brothers asked us these questions, we'll be out here speaking the same thing you speaking. Brother will be telling me about Jesus, and I'll be saying, what about Tupac? And see, that's the thing, bro. Our people hate knowledge, right? You know what I'm saying? Get Deuteronomy 4:32.
Chapter 4, verse 32.
Yep.
For acts now of the days that are past.
What?
For acts now of the days that are past.
And that's what we looking for. We looking for the people who really want to inquire about their nationality. We looking for the people who want to know why we was brought here as slaves. We are looking for the people who want to know what language we spoke before we was taught the English language, the Spanish language, the French language. These are the people we looking for, right, Reed?
Which were before thee.
Which were what?
Which were before thee.
Reed?
Since the day that God created man upon the earth.
Since God created man upon the earth. Give me the book of Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 16. Give me the book of Ezra chapter 4 and verse 20. Because what a lot of y'all got to understand is, before we came to America, we were a great nation, right? We were a powerful people. We want the people that you see here today. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people came and got their information from us, right? Read what you got.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old path.
And do what?
And ask for the old path. Where is the good way?
Where is the what?
Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest.
And you shall find rest. You know what I'm saying? How many of our people out here is tired of being oppressed? How many of our people out here is tired of paying taxes? How many of our people is tired of paying for water that falls freely from the sky? You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that if you're looking for that rest, first you got to find out who you are. We looking for our people who tired of earning money that don't have our face on it, right? So this is what we come out here to do. We come out here to show our people who we are. Read what you got.
Ezra chapter 4 verse 20. There have been mighty kings.
He said what?
There have been mighty kings.
So prior to slavery, the Bible is letting y'all know there have been mighty kings that descend from our people, right, Reed?
Also over Jerusalem. Over Jerusalem. Which have ruled over all countries.
You did what?
Ruled over all countries.
Sis, did you know that? Hey, so did you know prior to 1619, where you going? See, that's the thing. We can't be afraid. We can't be ashamed. You know what I'm saying, to hear about our history. So I'm just asking. I ain't trying to put you on the spot. But prior to 1619, did you have any knowledge that our people ruled countries before, previously? What countries in particular do you know? Put me on game, teach me something. You said no. All right, so ain't no wrong with that, right? So what we teaching our people out here is that we are the Israelites, right? And prior to coming over here as slaves, we was a great and mighty nation. We was a mighty people. Our forefathers ruled over countries. And even during the Middle Age, or the Dark Age that they like to quote, we ruled the world. You know what I'm saying? With blackface. You know who King James is? The man that they say wrote the Bible, right? Did you know King James was a black man? And I'm showing you this is because we got to understand that it's time for us to come back to our true nationality, embrace who we are. Do you feel like, you know what I'm saying, we were born speaking the English language thousands of years ago? Right, and if I asked you what was your nationality, what would you tell me? Black African American, right? So now I'm gonna ask you another question, right? Our people, right? You see all these brothers out here, we different shades of brown. And I'm not being funny, but can all us brothers descend from 2 Caucasian males? No, right? And so now the reason why I say this is because a lot of our people like to say we African American. But when you think about the root words of those names, where they come from, those come from 2 Caucasian males. The landmass Africa was named after Leo Scipio Africanus, right? And America was named after Americo Vespucci. So you got to understand that these people, give me Psalms 49 and 11. So what you got to understand is when you think about the world, right? Every race of people and every nation of people always fight for world dominance. Everybody done had their turn, right? And so when you think about the people that we see predominantly ruling the world today, right? When they went on conquering countries and land masses, they conquered it, enslaved the people, and renamed everything after themselves, right? Watch this. You got it.
Psalm chapter 49, verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
So when you think about the nations, right, while they conquering and going to war, their mentality is and their pride is, can't no other nation stand before us. Anybody who wants to make war with us, we'll conquer them, right, Reed?
And their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own name.
They did what?
They call their lands after their own name.
So when you think about the 2 males I just told you about, Leo Scipio Africanus got Africa named after him during the Punic Wars when he defeated the Dark King by the name of Hannibal. When he defeated Hannibal, the Romans rewarded him by naming the whole continent of Africa after him because why? They colonized it. When you think about America, you heard of Christopher Columbus, right? Christopher Columbus founded America by what? He said he read the prophet Ezra. And when you read in 2nd Ezra 13, it goes in precise detail on how Christopher Columbus found us because it'll tell you where we'll be at. And when Christopher Columbus came over here, he found it, but he came over here raped, robbing, and pillaging and got sent back where he came from. And they have a man by the name of Americo Vespucci, which was an Italian map maker. And he found other parts of this landmass that prior to that they had no knowledge about. And what did they do? They named it after him. So how does that relate to us? So you got to understand something. Give me the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 37. So God made a covenant with our people, right, as the Israelites. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. You familiar with that? And he told our people if we kept the commandments, we'll be blessed upon all people. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and start at
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse number 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt not hearken diligently.
verse 1.
That's 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou not hearken diligently, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, unto observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations.
So the Bible, God told our ancestors, if we hearken to his commandments and we kept them, right, he said he would set us on high above all nations. So when you think about the world today, and besides sports and hip hop and movies and acting, right, do you see our people on high as a whole? You said no, right? Where do you see our people at predominantly? When you think about this area right here, what people you think percently resides over here? When you think about Bankhead, East Atlanta Zone 6, when you think about all them areas where it's going down there, right? What people do you know reside over there? Right, so you can automatically know that when he read this first verse, we didn't keep the covenant. So now go to verse 15. I want to show you something. Verse 15.
God, verse 15.
Right.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Watch this, sister.
cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So when we think about slavery, right? Let's take it back, and we're not trying to make this personal. When you think about slavery, when our people came over here, right, off them slave ships, do you think we came off the slave ships with resumes, tuxedos, and ties on? You know what I'm saying? Going from city to city trying to see where we can find work? No, right? We were shackled up, we were chained up. A lot of us was butt naked, right? You got to understand that we came over to these cities getting auctioned off. Now when you think about that, right, he said, cursed shall I be in the city. Think about, let's just take it to modern day times, right? Let's bring it up to speed, right? Give me Isaiah 51:20, and also give me Zechariah 11:5. And are y'all familiar with a sister by the name of Sonia Massey? Y'all not familiar with a sister by the name of Sonia Massey? She just made the news recently, right? So what happened with this sister was she made a police call and she had the boiling water. And what happened to her? When she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, what proceeded after that? She got murdered, right? So when you think about this, right, do you think that would have happened to a, you know, and I'm not being racist, right? Do you think that would have happened to a Chinese woman if she made that phone call? They would have circled her house 5 times. They would have told her, ma'am, if you don't feel safe, we're going to spend the night in your parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that would have happened to an Arab man? That only happens to a particular group of people. So you got to understand who got Zechariah.
Zechariah chapter 11 verse 5. Whose possessors slay them. Whose possessors slay them.
So you got to understand when it's speaking about the Israelites, he said their possessors slay them. And watch this.
And hold themselves not guilty.
So when you think about a lot of our people, Trayvon Martin, we know all the names go on and on, right? Kendrick Johnson, when you think about these people, it said they possessors slay them. They murder them. And we still dealing with how our people are cursed in the city, right? Read.
They Slakia, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
Read that part again. For they that what?
And for they that sell them.
And the people that sold us as slaves from auctions, right? He said what?
Say, blessed be the Lord.
And these people profane the Lord by saying, blessed be the Lord, because why?
For I am rich.
And they say that they are rich because why? They taking our children, selling them for gold. They looking for big buff brothers to breed children with, right? And the Lord say, and it says what?
Shepherds pity them not.
And they what?
And their own shepherds pity them not.
Even to this day, when you think about the rap industry, you know what I'm saying? When you think about today, to this day, they sell us out for thousands or hundreds of dollars. You know what I'm saying? You know what they do? They promote crime on music. They promote violence in music. And you know what I'm saying? All right, it's all good. The Lord go.
Chapter 51 and verse 20.
So now we're still discussing the city of Atlanta, modern day times, right? Read, watch.
Have fainted.
So the Lord said, when you speak about the young generation, our young men who populate the world today, right? He said we have fainted. At one point in time, we used to be a strong people, right? But now God said our young men have fainted. Why?
They lie at the head of all the streets.
He said what?
They lie at the head of all the streets.
So when you think about Memphis, when you think about Atlanta, when you think about Augusta, when you think about Florida, when you think about all these major cities, our young men populate the corners of the streets, right? When you go in the hood, when you go by the corner store, the Arab corner store, who you see standing up out there? You see our people, right? You just trying to go in there and get 15 on pump 3, and somebody came up to you and offered you about 3 different things for sale, right? And yeah, right. And not only just that, they what? They out there looking to kill each other, right? Read, watch this.
As a wild bull in the net.
He said our young men are like wild bulls in the net. So I'm going to ask y'all this question, right? When you let a bull, if I was to let a bull go right now and start running down this line, what'll happen? That bull will just start knocking people down and over, right? Running over anybody in his way. So when you think about our communities, when you think about the gun violence, when you think about the robberies, When you think about the carjackings, God said the Israelite young men are like wild bulls trapped in a net. And what net are we trapped in? We trapped in the judicial system. We trapped in the oppression. We trapped in the ghetto. We trapped in the slums, right? Our young men having to grow up going to lower grade schools where, you know what I'm saying, ain't too many metal detectors, all the bullies in the school, our young men not being able to be fortunate to say, you know what, I'm going to send my son to the private school. They're going to really teach him something so one day he can. That's not our people. Read, watch this.
It says, they are full of fury of the Lord.
Hey, what?
They are full of the fury of the Lord.
He said we are full of the Lord's fury. Because why? When you see us killing and robbing each other and selling each other drugs and whoring our sisters out, these are the punishment and the curses that God put on us. Because why? At one time, when we all lived together as a people in our own landmass, we had laws and judgments ourselves. In the ancient world, if our young men was walking around gang banging, robbing or killing each other, we'll put them to death for that. They'll be judged for that because why? We are supposed to be a lawful people. But watch this.
This is Baruch chapter 4 verse 20. Slucky verse 32. Miserable are the cities.
What the Lord say?
Miserable are the cities.
So when you think about all the cities that our people reside in and they populate in, right? The Bible said these cities are miserable. That's why when you think about East Atlanta, right? He said the city is miserable. When you think about downtown Atlanta, if you go to downtown Atlanta, you want to go walk around, you going to leave your doors unlocked in your car? Are you going to leave your purse just sitting on the front seat?
Right.
Why? Because Lil Juju knew gonna come get it, right? So you gotta understand, he said miserable are our cities. Would you feel safe at nighttime walking down East Atlanta 6 to the house? Why? Because you know what? Our people gonna come and attack each other, right? So now you gotta understand that the Bible said these are the curses that God said was gonna be on the Israel. Hold on real quick.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou even thyself.
So when you're speaking about our people again, this is a real factual historical prophecy regarding our people. So he said what?
Thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
And when you think about a heritage, what would a heritage be? Do y'all, and I'm gonna ask y'all this question. Do y'all feel like our people has a heritage today in America? We don't, right? What's our heritage? Do you think basketball is our heritage? Do you think hip-hop is our heritage? You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to understand and ask yourself this. So besides sports, besides rap, what do we have? What heritage do we have, right? So now real quick, I want y'all to understand what our heritage was. Hold this, give me Exodus 6 and 8. Then you go back and give me Sirach 7. What our heritage was, read.
The book of Exodus, chapter 6 and verse 8. I will bring you into the land concerning the which I did swear to give it to Abraham.
So God said he was going to bring our ancestors when he delivered us out of Egypt, out of our first slavery. He was going to bring us into a land, right? Read.
To Isaac and to Jacob, and I will give it to you. I will give it you for inheritance.
And he said the modern day land of Israel and other parts of that land, he said he was going to give that land to us for inheritance. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the first part of our heritage. It was the land given to us that we see now imposters dwelling in, right? So now it's a two-part part of your heritage. I'm going to show you another part of what our heritage was. Read it.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 17 verse 11. Besides this, he gave them knowledge.
He gave us what?
He gave them knowledge.
And when you think about our communities today, do our young generation and do our people today, you know what I'm saying, express and show knowledge amongst ourselves? When you think about the social media world, do you see our people dropping jewels and knowledge on social media? What we dropping on social media? Twerk videos, fights, you know what I'm saying, exposing each other. Women saying they don't need the men, and men saying he just want to, you know what I'm saying, get what he want out of sisters. Right, read.
He gave them knowledge and the law of life.
And the what?
And the law of life. For inheritance. For inheritance.
And the reason why we carry ourselves the way we carry ourselves today in general is because we don't have our heritage. We lost our heritage. When we kept our heritage and we took pride in our heritage, this is how God said the world looked at us. Get Deuteronomy 4 and 6. So this is something y'all got to learn today. What we coming out here to do is, we coming out here to let y'all know that we are the Israelites. We are God's chosen people.
That's right.
Our prophecy, our slavery wasn't because of, you know what I'm saying, we were strong or we hard-working people. The slavery that our people went through was because of our lack of keeping God's commandments.
Right.
So watch this. I want to show y'all how we got looked at when we followed and honored our heritage. Read this.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
So when the other nations looked at us by keeping these commandments, God said the nations looked at us and said, what, read?
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
And this is just an example. In America today, when you see our people, right, every time, no matter what city we in, when people see us coming out here pronouncing words in the Bible, you see young men who used to be former gang members, former ex-cons, former humongers, former basketball players, quoting hundreds and hundreds of scriptures out the Bible. You know what most of the nations say? Hey man, surely y'all are wise people, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a wise thing how y'all pull out many scriptures in their Bible. Because why? When you look at the Christian church, how many times do y'all see the Christian pastor pull out hundreds of precepts? How many times does the Christian pastor pull out the laws of God? You know what I'm saying? When you think about it, I can tell you one thing the pastor do pull out. He pull out that tithes offering basket, right? You know what I'm saying? Because why? He don't want your salvation. He wants your money, right? So now go back and read this.
What Deuteronomy?
So how you doing, King? I can ask you, what's your nationality, bro? Yeah. What people do you descend from? Africa? So, all right, that's a good question. That's what's up, King. So now, real quick, if you could you tell me part of Africa would you be flying to? You actually don't know, right? Because you know Africa got many countries. What part of Africa we can go to at one point, right? Because what you got to understand is we not from the. But that's not our location. Our homeland is Jerusalem, right? So now I want to show you something. The reason Americans, right, is because we don't know where we come from and what we've been going. We lost our heritage, right? The God, give me Psalms 102 verse 18 real quick. I want to, and this is the reason why we have confidence in what we're saying up here, because the Bible read.
This is Psalm chapter 102 verse 18. This shall be written for the generation to come.
What the Lord say?
This shall be written for the generation to come.
So the whole reason why this Bible exists, the reason why the Lord allows the Bible to be taught throughout the world today by the Israelites is because this book was always written for the generation to come. What generation is that? This generation. Because this is the last generation, Most High willing, before, you know what I'm saying, we see the man that y'all know as Jesus Christ make his return. So everything we bringing out here is explaining the reason why our people got raped, robbed, murdered, colonized, and even to this day, we don't know who we are, right? So now go back to that, read what you got, Deuteronomy 28. I want to show you why we call ourselves African Americans. We call ourselves black. Do you have somebody in your family who over the age of 80? So now this is another question. Why is it that that person who's over the age of 80, they're older than their nationality?
Right, good question.
You got to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Some of our people on this earth who's still alive are older than their nationality. My grandmother is 81 years old, and I got an uncle who's 89. You know what I'm saying? When I first found this, I said, hey, uncle, what's your nationality? You know what he told me? Man, nephew, I done been told so many different things. I just say I'm me. Why? Because he tired of being lied to, right? So watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment.
He said what?
And thou shalt become an astonishment.
So the Lord said our people was going to become an astonishment. How we became an astonishment today? When you look up and down in the world today, when you think about gangs, what race of people do you mainly see gang banging? our people, right? When you think about oppression, when you think about being at the bottom of society, what race of people do you see dwelling at the bottom of society? When you think about language, what race of people do you know that speak everybody else's language and have no idea what their original language is? What race of people also do you know when you ask them, can they fly back to their homeland? They tell you, I have no idea where my homeland is. That's an astonishment according to the Bible. Read.
A proverb and a byword.
And a what?
And a byword.
And a byword is calling you somebody your God-given name. So when you think about our people today, we are living bywords in America today. Because why? Now our nationality is African American. Before that, it was Afro-American. Before that, it was Negro-American. Before that, it was colored. And then you already know when it comes to that N word, how it go farther and farther up the chain, right? So when you think about this, these are bywords that were put on our people. Read that in Psalms 44 and verse 11. So I want to show y'all something, right? So far, what are y'all realizing? We fit the descriptions of the Israelites in this Bible. When you look at the blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people, we are living prophecy according to the Bible. Read this.
Psalm chapter 44 verse 11. Thou hast given us like sheep.
He said what?
Thou hast given us like sheep, appointed for meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen.
And did what?
And hast scattered us among the heathen.
So that's why when you look at the world today, you know who Giannis Antetokounmpo is, right? The basketball player that played for the Bucks, right? You see how he's from France. But when you look at his skin tone and his complexion, unless you hear him speak, and if you didn't know much about him, you would think he's just a modern day black man from America that's hooping, right? When you think about that, right? When you think about a lot of different of our people, when you look around the world, a lot of people who look like us, who serve slavery backgrounds with us, a lot of these people dwell throughout the world. That's why you got Afro-Asians, Afro-Chinese, Afro-Iraqis, because everywhere you look on the globe, you know what I'm saying, our people dwell in there. When you look in Germany, they got hoods and ghettos in Germany. You got black men gang banging in Germany. You got black men gang banging in London. Because why? The Lord said we were scattered there, right? Read, watch this.
Slakia, verse 12. Thou sellest the people for naught, and dost not increase thy wealth by their price.
And the Lord said he sold us for naught. The Most High God didn't get $1 million when we were sold into slavery, right? Read.
Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen.
He made us what?
Thou makest us a byword among the heathen.
That's why everywhere you see our people residing at, right? We are named after the land masses that conquered, raided, robbed, and colonized us, right? So now, hey bro, what's your name, big dog? MJ. So MJ, if I can ask you, right, why do you think we went into slavery? How do you feel about slavery? Why do you think we went into slavery?
I don't think we went into it. I think that there was a different type of evil on the earth that had free will, and it did what it did.
So you think during that time it was a different type of evil on the earth, and it just did what it did, right? It just happened.
Yeah,
So
I believe in the Bible you have God's will, you have the will of man, you have the devil's will. We all have free thought, right? So we get to choose our own destiny and fate. You can choose to believe, you can choose not.
but what would be the consequences behind that though? If you choose to believe or if you don't choose to believe, do you believe that if we decided not to follow God's path, we good? So we just got choices, right?
We do have, each human has a choice.
Right.
But it's not to say that the choice that make it the good or bad one. There is a good choice that you can make, which is to believe in God and you to follow His word and live by His commandments.
Right.
There's an opposite choice.
Right.
There's also ignorance. So I think with slavery, I think slavery happened because of folks who were living not of God. They were living the life that King set us to live.
And who was that people in particular?
White people.
So you think slavery happened because the white people weren't living godly
In America.
in America? So you think slavery happened because the white people in America wasn't living godly?
I don't want to boil it all the way down to that, but we're having like a very civil conversation.
Right.
Bringing each other, and I'll say yeah.
Right. So when you think about it, where did the Americans come from? So was America always a continent and a country? Was America always a country and a continent? So have the Americans always been here? Because what you make the basically what you're saying is because the Americans wasn't honoring and following God, they enslaved us. So now what I'm asking you is, when we speaking about these same Americans, have they always been a country? You know how we know Africa always been Africa, and the land of Asia, you know what I'm saying, Europe, all that, so forth and so forth, right? So the same way them land masses been flowing and operating, has America been flowing and operating in that same manner?
Honestly, I'm not understanding your question fully. However, I don't think you can boil it all the way down to this country and that country and that country.
I'm boiling it down to you basically you personalizing it and you basing it strictly on America. But what I'm just gonna tell you straight up, it wasn't just the Americans, because what you gotta understand is prior to them being called the Americans, you had the British over here, you had the French over here, you had the Spaniard people over here. You know what I'm saying? You had all different varieties of different Caucasians here, country and colonizing this land. You also had what they call the rebels here. And now what you got to understand is, so now this is another question. Based on what you said, why is it that our people was the only ones who got affected like that? Cause you know what I'm saying? This is something you got to answer, bro. You know what I'm saying? Give me Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. And, you know, give me Psalms 50 and 16. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't come out here and say or make a statement that, you know what I'm saying, God, these things happen all because the so-called white man didn't keep the commandments of God. When we got to understand first and foremost that God never dealt with those people on that type of time. Right? So they can't keep something they never knew about. So read what you got.
Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked, God said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth.
In thy what?
In thy mouth.
So the Lord said the nations had nothing to do with his... My phone. So the Lord said the nations have nothing to do with his laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Read this.
Amos chapter 3 and verse 1.
Hold on, so now, real quick, what I want to tell you was, we're going to read these verses again, right? So basically what I want to let you know, MJ, is that it would be impossible for them to put us in slavery because they wouldn't want to keep God's commandments, when from the beginning of time, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning of time, they never even had God's language. You know what I mean? God's laws. God never dealt with them like that, right? So I want to read this again.
So would you blame it on ignorance? Because in the Bible it says, it does speak about ignorance. So if people have been exposed to the word of God, they equally have to deal with it.
So give me hold this real quick and give me. So I want to show you in regards, right, when you're speaking about ignorance, when you're speaking about God's law. So now I'm gonna ask you this first, MJ. When we speaking about God's laws, statutes, and commandments, it's safe to say he gave them to all mankind, right? To everybody. So you feel like God gave his laws to everybody, right?
I feel like he made it accessible to everybody.
So I'm talking about before Jesus came on the scene, you feel like God gave his laws to everybody to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. So how would, if the so-called American slaves that possessed us, why would we sit here and say that they enslaved and possessed us because they ignorance to God's laws or keeping God's laws when it never had nothing to do with them? Right. So when you think about it, they really fulfill what God had for them to do, because you have to understand in the Bible, hold this right here and give me Psalm 17 and 13. They did their part. You have to realize everybody that God created, everybody had a role to play in this world, right? So this is what you got to understand. Read this real quick when you get it.
Psalms chapter 17 and verse number 13. Arise, O Lord.
Do what?
Arise, O Lord.
Read.
Disappoint him. Cast him down.
Right.
Deliver my soul from the wicked.
Do what?
Deliver my soul from the wicked.
So this is David, an Israelite, praying to the Lord to deliver his soul from the wicked. Read.
Which is thy sword?
Which is what?
Which is thy sword?
So when you think about our people, right, when you go back into Deuteronomy 28, give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 47, right? You got to understand that the reason why I asked you why we went into slavery, you got to understand because God prophesied it. That's why when I went to Psalms 102, we told you that the Bible was written for the generation to come of our people, so that in these last days, when we trying to figure out who we are, when we trying to figure out of all the nations of people that's on the earth, why is it that our people only went into slavery? Why is it that our people are the only ones that's colonized? Why is it that our people are the only ones that speak a certain language? And when you find the answer, you find out that the answer is actually in the Bible. Because God, when you look in the Bible from the book in the beginning of Genesis, all the way down to Revelation to this modern day term, he's only dealt with one race of people. You know what I'm saying? So read this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
Because what?
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
So for context purpose, let me show you who we talking about. Hold this, give me Deuteronomy 1:1. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Watch this, MJ.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
To everybody.
Unto all Israel.
So these things that he's speaking, he spoke this only to the Israelites. So now go back.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God.
So because the Israelites didn't serve the Lord their God, right? So you got to also know this, MJ, from the beginning of time, right? God has always been known of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And when you think about Jacob, what was Jacob's name turned to? You don't know. Jacob's name was turned into Israel. Right. So now when you think about the 12 sons of Israel, which we are, God became our God as well. So he's the God of the Israelites as well. So from the beginning of time, God has always let it be known that he's only the God of a certain group of people. So now watch this read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So because the Israelites didn't serve their God with joyfulness and gladness of heart, but we strayed and went into idolatry and false God worship, right? He said we was going to serve our enemies, read.
Which the Lord shall sin against thee.
Which what?
Which the Lord shall sin against thee.
So to answer my question, God is the one that sent the so-called Americans or the so-called Caucasians against our people, because David told us in Psalm 17 that what? These wicked people that God named as the so-called white man, they are the sword of God. Right. Just like you got a belt, right? You got children. So it's safe to say when you grew up, you got whoopings, right? If you did something wrong, right? So in modern day term, the Bible is saying that if we didn't do what we wanted to, God said that the other nations are his belt to discipline and punish us. Right. So now when you think about slavery, slavery happened to our people because we didn't take heed to the commandments. Right. We made a covenant with God. But read what you got.
This is Psalms chapter 147 and verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
So through Moses, the Most High showed his word unto Jacob, read.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation.
He what?
He has not dealt so with any nation.
So at any time in the life in this Bible, you would never read about how the Most High is dealing with another race of people, you know what I'm saying, besides the children of Israel. Right.
And as for his judgment.
As for his what?
And as for his judgment.
So what we reading about in Deuteronomy 28, these are the judgments of God for lack of keeping his commandments. Right. Watch this.
They have not known them.
They have what?
They have not known them.
So they don't know the judgments of God because it was never given to them, right? So let's personalize it, right? Say, MJ, if your father, right? If your father told you, if you don't be in the house by 7 o'clock, you gonna get a beating. Is that gonna apply to me? Right, so I can stay outside as long as I want, right? It's free will for me. Because what? Your father didn't give me that punishment, right? So you got to understand, so when we thinking about the Bible is letting you know that we are the only ones that got told laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Watch this. Give me that Amos real quick. So watch it. Give me Amos 3 and 1. I want to show you different examples of God not dealing with other nations. And now when we go back to visit why our people went into slavery, got colonized, and we at the bottom of society, you know what I'm saying, today, this is why you'll understand that, read.
Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel. O children of Israel. Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known.
So God said when it comes to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, God said, y'all are the only people that he's ever known on the earth, that he's ever dealt with, that he's ever cared for, read.
Of all the families on the earth. Therefore Lord will punish you for all your iniquities.
So God says for everything that we do wrong as the Israelites, he said he will punish us. You won't read that in the Bible about him saying that about any other people. But what he do say that he gonna punish them for is for anything that they do to our people, right? So now you finna say something.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'm not really well enough to have a conversation, so I definitely do apologize. I didn't come with a manuscript to think from, to be honest with you, but I really don't understand the foundation as such, and I have to leave. So I just want to know the foundation of what's happening out here right now. Really.
So this is the foundation. This is a beautiful question, bro. Give me Hosea chapter 14, verse 1. You know what I'm saying? Give me the book of Hosea chapter 14, verse 1. Give me Hosea 6 and 1. This is the foundation of what we come out here to do. Read, watch it.
The book of Hosea chapter 14 and verse 1. Oh Israel.
Oh who?
Oh Israel.
So first and foremost, we come out here to reach the Israelites, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read.
Return unto the Lord.
And we come out here to teach our people, MJ, to return to the Lord. We are teaching the Israelites who went into slavery, who got colonized, who got oppressed, and now get gunned down in the streets day in and out, right? We teaching them to return to the Lord, read.
Thy God, for thou hast fallen by thy iniquity.
And we are here teaching our people that the reason why we fell as a people that was once a great people, we are here teaching our people the reason why we failed is because why? Our iniquity. We didn't keep God's commandments, right, read?
Take with you words.
What?
Take with you words.
And as our people walking up and down the belt line, we are telling our people, just like we telling you right now, to take these words with you to read.
And turn to the Lord.
And do what?
And turn to the Lord.
So now we are giving you these words to turn to the Lord. We're living in the last days. And whether you believe make his return. You know what I'm saying? You familiar with the Bible, right? Have you read Matthew 24? Have you read Luke 21? So when you read these chapters, I would advise you to go and read these chapters, because when you read these chapters, right, Jesus gives you the clue or the tea or the hint on when he's about to make his return. When you look at all these wars that's going on today, you got nations rising up against nations. You know what I'm saying? You got our people being destroyed day in and day out. You got plagues hitting the earth. You got earthquakes hitting the earth. You got bad weather hitting the earth. All these things Jesus told us will begin to happen rapidly once he's about to make his return. And he also told us in the last days that our people will begin to wake up and to come back to who they are. And we'll stand on our feet as a great exceeding army. That's why you see men from all different flashes of life standing out here in unison and in order, and we together as one man. Because why? This is what the Bible prophesied, right? And when you read Revelations 11 and 7, it tells you that every nation of people that see us, they're going to be equipped with fear. Because these same men you see standing before you, compelling our people to come back and repent, to learn who you are, to obey God and keep his commandments. These are going to be the same men, most high willing, when all hell breaks loose on the earth. When World 3 start popping off, you're going to see the sky crack, and these ought to be the men that everybody going to see get beamed up and what the world deem as UFOs. So our message is to our people is to come back to the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? So this is what the message is, and this is what the foundation is, right? You know what I'm saying? And one more before you go, get Deuteronomy 14 and 2 real quick. Yeah, watch this. And this is another part of the foundation, read.
Hosea chapter 6 verse 1. Come and let us return unto the Lord.
What are we telling our people?
Come and let us return unto the Lord.
So we are here telling our people, come, let us return back to the Lord. Because what you got to understand also, MJ, without God in our communities, without God in our households, what is our communities ending up in? You know what I'm saying? Gun violence. A lot of our young men is filling up the prison houses. A lot of our people are filling up the graveyards. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at all these pictures out here and all these things were biblically proven and biblically prophesied, right? So what we teaching our people is to come return to the Lord, read.
Return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, and he will heal us.
So the Lord torn our people and split us up in slavery. When our people came over here as slaves, we got torn from our history, we got torn from our nationality, we got torn from our language, and also we got torn from the way that we deal with each other. Gotcha.
Con. And he has smitten us, Slakia. He has smitten and he will bind us up.
He will what?
And he will bind us up. After 2 days.
So he got healed and binding us up, right? So before I go real quick, we out here telling our people that we must repent and come back to the Most High God. Give me the book of Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8, and then give me the book of Psalms chapter 14 and verse 2. Give me the book of Psalms 14 and 2 and Isaiah 55 verse 8. This is the message we have for our people. Read.
The book of Isaiah chapter 55 and verse number 8.
Read.
For my thoughts are not your thoughts.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found.
Do what?
Seek ye the Lord while he may be found.
So we out here compelling y'all brothers and sisters to come back and seek the Lord. Come learn who you are. Come learn why we are destroyed as a people. Come learn why we at the bottom of society. Come learn why we don't even have our own money currency. You know what I'm saying? Why we don't have our own schools. Come learn why we don't own no major establishments in America. Read.
Call ye upon him.
Do what?
Call ye upon him.
And what we're trying to command y'all to do is come learn who the true God of the Bible is, which is Yahweh, and learn to call upon him so we can return back to our homeland. Read.
Psalm chapter 14 verse 2. The Lord looked down from heaven.
This is what the Lord is doing right now. The Lord is looking down from heaven. He's seeing us out here throughout the world, teaching our people, bringing out this knowledge, reading the Bible week in and week out. Read.
The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand.
He's looking to see if anybody's understanding what his prophets are bringing out. He's looking to realize if anybody understanding, if we want to get out of slavery, if we want to get out of oppression, we got to return to the Lord. Read.
And seek God.
Do what?
And seek God.
So that's the message we coming out here with y'all today. So Most High willing, y'all take heed to it. Y'all go back home and ponder on it. And y'all will come back to the Heavenly Father and his Son and y'all nationality. So with that, I'm going to pass it and give all praise to the Most High God, man.
Hey, what up? Ain't nothing to read it.
Hurry up.
Read up.
Never mind. Stand down with your ribs. Busy much with your maids.
Yeah. They're like literally just the side of the building as a stage.
Give me Hosea 4:6. Give me Jeremiah 15:16. Alright, man. Shalom, shalom. Brother Oya Allah from the Northern House of Saints. We out here with Sicarii, the hopeful elect, the servants. You know what I'm saying? We out here teaching you so-called black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Say what? Oh, and the watchmen. Salakia. Can't forget the big watchmen out here, right? So, we out here, man. We teaching you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Americans who you guys are according to the Bible and history, right? A lot of y'all probably never heard of who you are, you know what I'm saying? You cool calling yourself a color out the crayon box. Hey sis, you know what your nationality is according to the Bible? Black? That's a color out the crayon box. Ain't your pants black? Duh. Alright. Yeah, he said that like he's smart or something, right? Go ahead, read that, brother.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6.
Duh.
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
See, our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? You see how confident the brother was cool calling himself a color crayon, right? I'm black, duh, huh? Right? But if you looked at his pants is different than his arm, right?
Right.
So it's like we have to get to actually knowing exactly what's going on out here, right? I'm gonna be condescending. I'm the butthole. So you say something stupid to me, I'm gonna make you feel it. What's up, brother? How you doing? What's up, little sis?
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I also will reject thee.
That's right. So because our people have rejected knowledge, right? The Most High has rejected us. That's the reason he allowed us to hear the words from Jesse Jackson when he called us African American, right? Let me ask you something, brother. I hear you listening. You call yourself an African American?
Yeah, I look good. I look good.
Yeah.
How y'all doing? Look good.
What's up, family? How y'all doing?
I like the food, Lord.
Hey, you know your nationality according to the Bible? What do you say? Oh, word. Okay, cool. All right. But what'd you say, brother? You said you ever called yourself an African American? A little bit. I'm asking you a question. You ain't got to answer it, but I want you to think about it, right? Is your mama big enough to have you, like when she had you, right? When you was born? Was she big enough to put her left foot on America and her right foot in Africa? So why you call yourself African American? Have you ever been to Africa? Never? You know what part of Africa you might be from according to 23andMe? Or what parts rather? Because it's going to be like 18 of them. Right? So that's the question our people constantly have, right? That's what we always asking them. What is it that our people know about Africa? Why do we call ourselves African American, right? When little Bobby comes up here, he don't have to call himself English American, right? He's just American, right? When Shang Tsung moves to America, he's not calling himself Chinese American, right? He's just American, right? So that's what we have to get the understanding of, right? That our people are just was destroyed for a lack of knowledge, and we're the ones that have a fake nationality, right? Fake titles, basically that are bywords that we call ourselves daily, happily, right? Confidently, as we saw Mr. Duh did a minute ago, right? Read that one more time, brother, from the top.
This the book of Hosea.
What's up, family? You know your nationality according to the Bible? You look Ethiopian. Huh? Go ahead.
It's the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
Yeah, so my people, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, they're just... He's called himself Hispanics, and Hispania doesn't exist anymore. It's a place that don't exist. That's what Spain and Portugal used to be, right? The Latino and the Latina, where's that at? On the... I catch a Delta flight to Latino? Just like I can't catch a Delta flight to black, right? It don't make no sense. So our people as a whole, so-called black, Hispanic, and the native savages, right? They're destroyed for lack of knowledge, because that's all an Indian is, a damn...
It says, I also will reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Yeah, so our people are not ever going to be able to be priests to the Most High as long as we forget the law of our God, right? And part of the law is, you know, part of the things he told us to do when you waken back up to your nationality is to go on a search for your fathers, right? Job 8 and 8. So if you haven't done that and you think you believe in the Bible, then you know you're missing something. Go ahead, read what you got, bro.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, it's like verse, chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way and walk therein?
So that's what our people have to do, right? A lot of y'all believe in the Bible, but you don't actually ask for the old paths, right? Our people, these brothers, you know, especially the Sicarii, they out here every week in this exact spot, right? And I've seen, since I've been out here for the last hour and a half or so, brothers have been teaching, right? Asking folks if they know their nationality like this right here. Hey, family, you know your nationality according to the Bible? You ever seen the movie Get Out, sister? Should probably watch it again. Hey, what's up, family? How y'all doing? All right. Hey, y'all believe in the Bible? No? See what I'm saying? So that's I'm glad the Most High showed me that. Drop what you got. Give me Zechariah 7 and 11. Keep reading what you got. The old paths, right? Read that from the top.
The book of Jeremiah, the 6th verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein.
So our people have to ask for the old paths, right? They have to ask for the good way and walk therein. Know what I mean? We have to get back to learning exactly what it is that we're missing as the so-called black, Hispanic, Native American people, right? Why is it the Most High has us in the condition he has us in all over the world? What is it that we missing that these damn crackers ain't got? Well, we got the Bible. They don't have that, right? I know some of y'all not gonna like me calling them crackers, but they're the ones that crack the whip, right? It's not a color term. Right? They're not the same color as a saltine, they're red. That's why we call them rednecks in the South, right? They're actually the ones that crack the whip. They're the slave master, right? That's why we call them crackers. They're the ones in control of us and the doctrines that we learn, right? They're the ones making us think we're called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You dead, right? To those places, because they don't exist. Go ahead.
You said Zechariah.
Yeah, Zechariah 7:11. For the people that's walking by.
This the book of Zechariah, chapter 7 and verse 11. But they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder.
Yeah, our people are refusing to hearken, right? They refuse to listen. That's what hearken means, right? What's up, bro? Do you know your nationality going to the Bible? What is it? Twist? Red. Oh, I thought she said red. Yeah. No, Swiss is white. You're red. Go ahead.
From the top.
Swiss cheese is white. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. You know.
But they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears that they should not hear.
So the white lady will, sit there and listen to us and stuff like that, but our people won't even inquire about the signs we got, right? Because they pull away the shoulder. They're comfortable calling themselves the same color as the shirt they got on, as opposed to calling themselves the nation that the Most High intended for them to come from, right? That's the problem. Give me Proverbs 28:9 while you did get that. Then I'm going to get back to you and Jeremiah. Because this is going to be the issue that our brothers have every single time we out here, right? And I'm not going to be the last one with it. Our people are going to walk by and not listen. But it's just like the brother Eli said when he was up here, right? Those of you that don't hearken to what we saying while we're here, you're not going to make it out of this place when it falls, right? When them nukes start flying, whenever Putin and Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping, right, decide to throw them nukes this way, y'all not going to make it out of here. But Most High willing, the brothers out here teaching and standing strong for the Most High will, because that's what we're commanded to do, right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law.
So look, if we ask you, hey sis, you know your nationality according to the Bible? What is it? It ain't a thumb sign. Do you know? What is it? If you know, you got to say it. Prove all things, right? Okay, yeah.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 9.
Look. He said he knows and she said she knows, right? But I bet she don't know this because they kept walking, right? Instead of trying to inquire. Next time they pray, the Most High is not going to listen.
That turneth away his ear from hearing the law. Even his prayers shall be an abomination.
So try to pray to the Most High now, sir, right? He's going to look at you and laugh, and I bet it don't come true, right? Unless you pray for death, he might give you that one. This is what our people have to do, right? We have to get back to the old path. We have to stop being cool with being Americans. This isn't the place we're supposed to be cool. A big burly white guy, last name Gray, can shoot you in your head because of a prowler. He could become the prowler and shoot you in your face, right in your damn kitchen, right? They could pull you over for a traffic stop because it's not raining and you ain't got your lights on, but he pulled you over because you ain't got your lights on in the rain. Happened to me last week. And I got pulled over for not having my lights on in the rain. And it wasn't raining. How about that, right? But look, so they could do that, right? This is the place that you at where they could do that. They could pull you out the car. They could shoot you, right? And they get off not guilty, as the prophecy says in Zechariah. The oppressors slay them and hold themselves. Continue to happen. Marching's not going to stop it, right? For a fake white woman or Donald the Duck Trump isn't going to stop it from. So our people have to get to understand what exactly the Most High wants us to do to get up out of the situation that we're in. Hey brothers, do y'all know your nationality according to the Bible? What's your nationality? What do you call yourself on a piece of paper?
Good question.
You ain't got to follow him, bro. You got your own brand. If you don't want to listen, it's cool. But I want to ask you a question. That's what I'm talking about. You a grown ass man. So what do you call yourself? What's up, bro? What's your name? Joshua. Oh, that's a powerful name too. You know what that name means? He shall save. Yeah. You say you gotta help us save the people. That's why you stopped, right? Man's goings is of the Lord, right? So look, what do you call yourself when you apply for a job, when you was in school or whatever? Black? Let me ask you something. It's probably gonna sound like a dumb question, but it's not meant to be, right? You ever wore the color black before? When you stand in the mirror, do you look like the clothes you got on when you were black? Why you cool calling yourself that? You ever thought about it? It's what you was told, right? So we was programmed to think that. What else do you ever call yourself? What's the other name they give us? African American, right? You ever been to Africa? You think he ever been to England? Or Europe? The UK? He like a straight up redneck, right? He the same color as his shirt. So he ain't calling himself English American or United Kingdom American, right? Or British American, German American, Russian. We African American and we ain't never been. Makes sense, right? So here's the thing, right? Give me Deuteronomy 7:6. Y'all can drop whatever y'all had. What I was explaining to the people is we have to come back to the old path, right? To figure out what it is that we used to be, right? After slavery, they gave us, in fact, they call us African American, right? You ever seen the slave signs and stuff like that they give us during Black History Month that they teach us about? You ever seen the sign that said African for sale? Or did they say Negro for sale? Negro, right? Do you know that the African and the Negro ain't the same thing? They're not the same thing. Negroes are not from Africa. They just were found there, right? So quick history lesson for you, right? We got Deuteronomy 76. So the reason they called us a color out the crayon box, right? Black, in a place that we can't catch a flight to. The map, right? The reason they gave us false titles is because they don't want us to know that. You ever heard a brother walk down the street? You've never heard it, right? Not in a spirit to do that. In France in the 1500s, in the 1600s, right? 1700s. He was black too, right? The guy that Napoleon took France from was a nigga, and they moved him to Louisiana. So they brothers that they took from England and Africa, right? So here's the history for you, right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6.
Do you believe in the Bible? Huh? All right. Oh, I see you got the, you got the Jesus piece on. So. Pull up, brother. You ain't got to be scared. We trying to teach you too. You know what I'm saying? It's the Sabbath. Most High made you stop. You ain't in a rush to do nothing. Come learn something.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
What's your name? Jordan? That's a strong ass. Damn, both of y'all got names. You know what Jordan mean? Yaradan. That's what it would really be, right? That's a place over in the Middle East. It's also named after the best wine in the world. Just saying.
Deuteronomy 7 and 6 again. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Look, holy. Do y'all know what holy means? Separate. So black, Hispanic, and Native American people are supposed to be separate from everybody else. Don't let her pull you away, sis. This is your people. She's Indian. She's something else. Let her, if you want to pay attention, pull up. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Go ahead. So look. Holy, right? It means separate. Also, Lake Lanier, you know what that was? Lanier used to be a black town, bro. That whole thing, you know? I didn't say that a white girl got. That's why people die in that lake every year. The Most High got our people pulling them down.
You want to present? The book of Leviticus, chapter 20 and verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me. For I, the Lord, am holy.
So look, holy, right? Separate. It says that the black, Hispanic, Native American people. Go ahead.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
We're holy, separate unto the Most High, our God. You know what God means? And it's possessive here, meaning it's not everybody. The verse tells you the Bible's for everybody. You, it's only for the Israelites. We're trying to teach so-called black, Hispanic. Everybody on the planet Earth, as this is about to tell you.
The Lord thy God has chosen thee.
So you're chosen, Joshua and Jordan, right? You even got really powerful names, right? Your parents probably didn't know what that meant. Back to your true people, right? Go ahead.
To be a special people.
But he chose you to be special.
Unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So we're supposed to be above everybody on the face of the earth. Somebody give me Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 54 real quick. That's the last question I'm gonna ask y'all. I'm gonna give y'all one more scripture, and if y'all want to walk away, but I want y'all to listen to this. You believe in the Bible too, Jordan? I ain't get. That's good. You don't have to go back. You know that y'all are the church. According to the Bible, the church is it's an assembly of Israelites, right? And wherever 2 or 3 or more of us are gathered, yeah. Ever tell you in church what Yahushua has to do to come? So I'm gonna give you a summary, right? the Most High's son, Yahushua, who they call Jesus Christ. Give me Matthew 15:24. Is coming back to save his people from their sins, right? Us, right? To give repentance to Israel, which is the Israelites, right? Not the Christians, but to Israelites only. So only Black, Hispanic, and Native American. You want to see where it says that? Okay, well, let's get Acts chapter 5 and verse 29, right? You believe in the Bible, sis? Oh, praises. What's your nationality, if you don't mind me asking? Okay, that's cool. All praises. We'll let the Spirit speak.
The 5 verse 29.
Do you know anything about the Israelites? It's a yes or no. Do you know anything about the Israelites? Okay, cool.
The book of Acts chapter 5 verse 29.
Are y'all reading it? All right.
Then Peter and the other apostle answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
So you're supposed to obey God, right? The doctrine. So the God of our fathers, right? Have the same fathers. They're a religion, right? But Israelites have the same forefathers. So the people here that's talking in
fathers raised up Jesus.
So the God, the power of Israelites rose up Jesus. Go ahead.
Whom ye slew and hanged on a tree.
Well, the Romans slew and hung on a tree.
Exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior.
So look, the Most High exalted Jesus.
And a savior for to give repentance
to who?
To Israel.
To Christianity.
To Israel.
To all that believe.
To Israel.
To anybody that says, sweet baby Jesus.
To Israel.
So to the Israelites, right? And you're supposed to believe that and take the Most High's word.
And forgiveness of sin.
So therefore, the only people that can have what you holding? Drop that. Give me Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Right? I'm gonna give you the whole breakdown right. Psalm chapter 147 verse 19. Right? We're gonna go precept upon precept. Bet. Oh, praises. All right, look. So look, Psalm 147, right? We just read in Acts, the New Testament, that in the New Testament, the only people that can be forgiven for their for the three of y'all. Well, two questions. One, what are don't give a damn. All right, cool. Second question. As far as the Bible, right? Who was the law given to? Okay, the law of the Bible. How about that? Wait. So it was only given to the Levites? All the Israelites? Oh, okay, wait. Well, I would say that it's all the same law. There's only one law in the Bible. Yeah. Yeah. I believe that we could say that the new covenant can begin and everything but it hasn't started yet. I don't believe that. Where does it say that in the Bible? We could get it. But first we're gonna deal with what I was talking about. We're gonna get there. No, it hasn't. Well, for one, does it? Wait, you asked me a question. Let me answer it. All right, cool. Let's answer a question with a scripture, right? Give me Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 8. Right? Because there's something specific about the new covenant, right? There's a specific thing that it tells us is going to happen. That's right. In the new covenant, we're not going to have to teach the law anymore. We're not going to have to teach the Israelites. The law will be in our hearts, which is our mind, right?
More than likely,
Wait,
you're gonna see
the only law that exists, the law of Moses. Give me Matthew chapter 5 verse 17. Let's show them that Jesus didn't bring a new law. And somebody else give me I come not with any new law, or I come with not a new thing, right?
That's a Memphis takeover.
I'm going to answer it for you, because I'm about to prove to you first that there's only one law, since you keep saying which law. After we prove it's only one law, I'm going to prove to you that we're not in the new covenant, because you still have to be taught that law, and that if you were in the new covenant, you wouldn't need to be taught it, because Jesus is going to be here putting the law in your minds. That's the other thing. Jesus isn't here, which is also something that has to happen in the new covenant. He would be here ruling over the planet Earth in the new covenant. That's part of the new covenant. It's not a nation ruled by, or a world rather, or a earth ruled by Satan. It's an earth ruled by Christ and righteousness. We don't have that here. It's a big ass gay dude that just walked past me in a dress, right? So we can't be living in Jesus' kingdom. For y'all to think that is absurd, right? A woman named Sandra Massey just got shot in the face by a big ass cracker the other day, right? For y'all to think that that's possible in Jesus' kingdom is absurd. But we'll get it in the Bible, because you know we believe in God rather than men, right? So do y'all got the precepts I asked for first? What you got? Acts 5? Matthew 5?
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
So wait. What color is this? Red. Do y'all know who's speaking when it's red letter? Okay, cool. So are y'all listening to what Jesus is saying? All right. Okay, cool.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
Wait, so what law is Jesus here coming to not destroy? Oh, okay, so is there another law than the law of Moses? Since you keep saying which law? What's the other law then? I'm gonna ask you again. It's a yeah. So what is consistent of the law of Moses? Is it a different sets of laws, or is it just the law of Moses? Because the law of Moses is a moral law, right? You got the 10 Commandments is included in that. You got the feast days, the statutes, commandments. It includes 613 laws, right, in the laws of Moses. It's a myriad, a plethora of laws, as you said, right? Jesus just said he came not to destroy that myriad and plethora of laws. You understand? So that's the one law. It's only one law. And Jesus said what?
Think not that I have come to destroy the law.
So think not that there's another law, and think not that he came to destroy the one that we have.
Or the prophet.
Or what the prophet said in the Old Testament, because they're not destroyed either, though you were taught that due to your pastor, right?
I have not come to destroy.
He has not come to destroy,
but to fulfill.
So he ain't come to destroy the law, but to fulfill. What in the law did he fulfill? Was it the whole law, or was it certain parts of the law, right? This is where the certain part comes in. My bad. So where does the certain parts of the law? Can you give me Acts chapter 3, verse 18? Right? Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you.
So watch this now.
Till heaven and earth pass.
So we still on earth, right? I can look down. Right? We still got the heavens, right? They gonna be shooting nukes up here soon.
One jot.
So look.
We about to go there.
Yeah, we gonna go there.
Acts 3 and 18.
Right now we in Matthew chapter 5. Y'all don't want to pull up what Jesus said? Y'all want to just jump to Acts?
They want to jump ahead.
They want to just jump to Acts.
They want to jump ahead.
Bump Christ, that's how they feel. They go right.
We're reading Matthew 5.
Till heaven and earth pass.
So until heaven and earth are gone away.
One jot.
So one jot of Moses' law.
Or one tittle.
Or one tittle of Moses' law. Or the law of Christ, whatever you want to call it, right? It's all the same law.
Shall it no wise pass from the law?
So nothing's gonna pass until heaven and earth pass away, right?
Till all be fulfilled.
Until all be fulfilled, right? So we just read that there was something fulfilled in the law that Christ talked about. But he said that the law is not done away with. Yeah, I see that.
Hey, Eliel, you got to give them a second. They're trying to Google God loves everybody first.
They're trying to figure it out. It's cool. It's cool. I want to make sure y'all are listening, because y'all asked me a question and you can't talk and listen at the same time. So what I just say? Oh, so we wasn't having a conversation then. Y'all was having a conversation, right? But y'all was standing up here talking to me. I ain't dumb, I just look like it, right? So look, here's the question again, right? in Acts, is this talking about in Matthew? In Matthew, did it say that there's more than one law, or did it just say, according to Jesus, that there's only one law and it ain't leave yet? This isn't talking about a specific law. This is talking about all the law. What you want us to get verse 1? You want us to read it in context? That's what you want? I know Christians like that. They don't like to read what's written. They like to read the whole thing and it's still... You know what context is? Context is what's written. That's literally the etymology of context. Right. It doesn't mean you have to read the whole thing. Reading in context means read it again.
Think not that I have come to destroy the law.
That's context.
Or the prophet.
Or the prophet.
I have not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
So he came not to destroy, but to fulfill. What did he fulfill? Read that.
It's the book of Acts chapter 3 and verse 18. But those things which God before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets, that Christ should suffer.
Hey, Chief, I ain't cussed out once yet. I just want you to know that.
Alright, from the top. But those things which God before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets, that Christ should suffer.
So look. Alright, one second. We having a brief intermission.
Yeah, they
that's it, better.
They're trying to come up with find something in Paul. They're gonna probably go to Ephesians. Or Galatians.
I'll let them have their little deliberate.
Which is different.
Yeah, it sounds like we about to have a debate, don't it? They getting their scriptures together. Huh? Yeah. I ain't mad at you. I'm gonna debunk everything you think using your scriptures. I'm gonna give you the understanding today.
Right.
We ain't gonna teach you nothing that's not in the Bible. We just gonna teach you what you don't know.
That's right.
Hey, it's it's a deliberation, huh? This is the Council of Nicaea, the Council of Wehia, the Council of Carthage, in our face, right? This is wild. Well, hey, I was just about to, that's the spirit, because I was just about to say that.
It's the book of Acts chapter 3 and verse 8.
We're going to read it for the camera. We'll read it again if they listen.
But those things which God before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets.
So look, there's certain things that God showed by the mouth of all his prophets, right? Matthew told us that there's things that have to be fulfilled, right? But everything won't be fulfilled till Christ comes back, right?
Right.
So the things that he did fulfill while he was on the scene the first time are these things, right? The things that the prophets told us he would go ahead and fulfill. The things that the prophets of the Old Testament were telling us he had to go through, right? Certain things like him coming on a donkey and getting his beard ripped out. Certain things like him having to drink gall and stuff like that, right? Certain things like him being pierced in the ribs. So those are prophecies that were given by the Old Testament prophets that were fulfilled in the New Testament, right? That's what Acts is about to explain to you what's fulfilled. It's not what Christianity teaches you. All things fulfilled. Now you can sin and make Jesus Christ the minister of sin. That ain't what the Bible teaches. That's what Joe Osteen and Jake the Snake TD teaches, right? Creflo Holla for all the dollars teaches that, right? We don't.
That Christ should suffer, he have also fulfilled.
What's good, King? You scaring me with that joint, bro. That look like one of them Mardi Gras joints. Oh, he ain't even got no eyes? Oh, he do got eyes. Are those M&Ms? Did you put M&Ms for eyes? Word. That's smooth. I like how you did that. He look like you too.
We don't. Repent ye therefore. Verse 19, repent ye therefore and be converted. So look.
You have to repent, therefore, and be converted. Once you realize exactly what's been fulfilled, right? It's not the fulfilling of the law that you guys are thinking of and everything being done away with. Now you can live however you want to live. It's a fulfilling of the things that Christ had to suffer. That's it. The rest of this stuff is still in the midst of being fulfilled, right? So one jot or one tittle is not done from the law. Not which law, because there's only one, right? We still under that law into the New Testament. You still had Hebrews 8? Give me that real quick. Nah, you holding Matthew, right? Oh, give me that too. Yeah, in fact, yeah, we're gonna wait for them to listen to that.
This is the book of Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 8. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 8. for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
See that? So look, this new covenant, if y'all were listening, right? Because I want y'all to hear this part, for real. The new covenant in Hebrews 8 and 8 says that it's not going to be with Christians, right? It's going to be for specific people. And then there's stipulations to prove whether we're in the new covenant or not. I want y'all to listen carefully to those two verses. Go ahead.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 8 and verse 8. It says, for finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
So look, so for finding fault with the Israelites, because we went off and broke the first covenant, right? So for finding fault with us, he's going to make a new covenant with the same people that broke the first one, the house of Israel and the house of Judah. He's not including anybody else into this thing. Even the grafting in that Paul talks about, when we get to Romans 11 and verse 23, it says God has the power to graft them in again. Because it's only for the people that were grafted in the first time, right? That were in it before, that had foreknowledge of God. They were broken off from the original tree. Now he could put them back on that same tree again, according or against nature, right? That's all the grafting in is talking about. It's the same people being included in that thing, just like this new covenant. Go ahead.
Verse 9, according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
So he said it's going to be different than the covenant that he gave us before when he took us out of Egypt, right? Go ahead.
Because they continue not in my covenant.
Because we didn't continue in this covenant, right? I would argue all three of y'all are probably Israelites, right? And neither one of you, all three of y'all are not keeping the laws of God. All three of y'all probably celebrate Christmas, which is a sin in the Bible, and not Passover. I'm sure you've probably never done dedication, right?
Right.
And those are all things, you know, that we're supposed to keep.
Right.
Trumpets, right? Tabernacles, the Day of Atonement. Those are all things Christianity doesn't teach. But the Bible teaches we're supposed to do that if you're actually a follower of Christ. Go ahead.
Because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord.
So because the Israelites didn't continue in the covenant that the Most High gave us the first time, and we regarded him not, he has elect people that have not bowed the knee to Baal, and other people that those elect are going to be teaching that are going to make up the 144,000 and the 1/3 that will be sealed. Once that happens, right, it's a dub. You understand what I'm saying?
Verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind.
So look, this is the part I wanted y'all to see, right? What's going to happen if we're in the new covenant? I won't have to teach nobody no more, right? Because what's going to happen?
Read again. I will put my laws into their mind.
So the laws will be in your mind, right? We won't have to tell you which law. You won't have to ask me which law, right? You already know what law I was talking about. You wouldn't have had that question if we was in the new covenant, according to what the new covenant said, or the New Testament says, I should say, right? Let me make sure y'all heard that one more time, because I don't think y'all was listening. I'm gonna let you ask me, just keep it and listen.
I will put my laws into their mind.
So a stipulation of the new covenant, according to the New Testament, is that the laws would be in your mind, right? And it's only in the minds of the Israelites, not her or him, right? Go ahead.
And write them in their hearts.
And write them in their hearts. So you would know about all 613 law, statutes, commandments. You wouldn't be thinking about a Christmas. You wouldn't be thinking about an Easter. You wouldn't be celebrating birthdays, right? You'd be just doing what the Bible says. You'd be wearing dresses. Yeah, go ahead. I couldn't finish reading the Bible, but you could ask your question. Go ahead. Yeah, I couldn't finish reading the Bible, but you can ask your question. That's what I said. I wasn't finished explaining, but go ahead. Word. Go ahead.
And I will be to them a God.
And he will be to who?
Them.
So them, those Israelites, Israel and Judah, he will be their power, right? In the new covenant. That's it. Go ahead. Who do I think he is? I think he is the savior of the Israelites, like he told us in Acts 5. The prince and the savior and the future king of the planet Earth once he comes and establishes his kingdom through the Israelites, right? Yeah, we just read it. We believe that he came already and ascended and that he will be back to do something specific. Let's read it. Give me Hebrews 10.
No, like, I want to know what you think.
I want to read it by what the Bible says, because we don't say what we...
Right.
My own knowledge is going to be what the Bible says, and then I'm going to... So you just want me to give you a synopsis. Right. So what would be the difference of me just reading the Bible to answer the question?
Right.
Right. Yeah, see, she's smart. I like her.
There she goes.
Oh, yeah, come. The book of Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 4. For if it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins.
So look, do y'all know the stipulation for taking away?
Book of Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
I'm going to start at verse 4. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins.
So it wasn't possible that the blood of bulls and goats should take away sins, right? Okay, so do you know anything about the old covenant? Well, I'm going to still answer it because you asked it, so I got to make sure everybody understands, right? So look, the reason why that happened is because in the Old Testament, right, our people were sacrificing, and they were using sacrifices. Never stopped sinning after they sacrificed. The point of the sacrifice was to stop whatever sin you had to make the sacrifice for, and to not do it again. That was called atonement. That was called atonement or repentance, right? Wait, what'd she say? I couldn't hear the bell. That's what we about to get to. But the replacement of the sacrifice, see, Christians think that once the sacrifice is replaced, you could just, that's it. What I just said was, after you sacrifice, you're supposed to stop sinning, right? So for example, if you made a sacrifice, you sacrificed a bull, right? With no blemish for stealing, right? You were never supposed to steal again after you sacrificed that bull. If you sacrificed a bull for sleeping or having sex with somebody, right? That wasn't your husband or wife, right? You weren't supposed to do that again after you sacrificed, right? Really, you was gonna die. But I'm just saying. So that's the stipulation here, right? The sacrificing of bulls and goats. You feel me? So this is the situation here. You just asked about Christ, right? Him being the replacement of that sacrifice. Now there's some, right? But there's something that's great. But what I'm talking about is reference to the people. Yes, we know that. We didn't. That's not the point that I'm making here. Okay, his blood is perfect, but what does that mean for you? Is what I'm trying to explain. It means that you could just keep sinning. Me neither. Wait. Wasn't I just explaining something in the Bible and you started talking while I was talking? But the question I asked, you didn't answer. I asked the question. Yeah, because you decided to answer something I didn't ask. I'm not going off tangent. You told me I could explain the Bible. You asked me, is Jesus' blood perfect? But before you asked me that, you asked me if Jesus was the perfect sacrifice, and I was explaining to you that the sacrifice isn't just a sacrifice, right? Just like, did that just come out my mouth? I don't think. Now I think she has hearing problems, right? So I'm gonna say it again. So look, there's no point of disrespect. It's like you're not listening to me. You not listening to me is disrespectful. You're making me waste my voice so I can be teaching other people. I ain't tell you stay here. I just finished reading the Bible. You wasn't even listening. That wasn't disrespectful. Y'all was deliberating while I was reading the Holy Bible. Okay, so now let me explain what I was explaining. Thank you. Without disrespect, I apologize, right? So look, Hebrews 10. What the brother was reading was why Jesus became the perfect sacrifice. Christians teach that he's the sacrifice to allow you to just do whatever you want. He's the perfect sacrifice. His blood, I didn't say y'all said that. I said Christians. Y'all might be a different type of Christian. There's a bunch of denominations of Christians, right? So, well, Well, I would say y'all don't actually follow under the brother of Christians, because Christians do what Christ said. And I'm reading what Christ said right here. So I'm teaching you guys how to be Christians. But anyway, so, all right, cool. So, well, I guess it is what it is. But look, Hebrews 10, right? What we're about to read is why Christ became a sacrifice. It said that you couldn't take away, you couldn't really sacrifice through the blood of bulls and goats, right?
The book of Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 4. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he says, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body has thou prepared for me.
So the Most High told us way back during the time of Abraham, right, with Isaac, that he was going to prepare a perfect sacrifice of lamb. He asked Abraham to, sacrifice his son to see if Abraham was going to follow him. I don't know if y'all know that story or not, right? Abraham put his son on the altar. He didn't make him burn him. Isaac asked before they went to the altar, hey, Pops, then he said he was going, you're like, where's the sacrifice? Where's the lamb, right? And then Abraham told him the Most High is going to handle that for us, right? The sacrifice came later down the line. It wasn't Isaac, it wasn't Jacob, it wasn't the 12 tribes, it was one of the people from the 12 tribes. The scepter that shouldn't depart from Jacob, right? The son of David, right? The other son of David, Christ. You feel me? Because you got Solomon, you got Absalom, right? So the other son of David, right? Christ. So that's what we talking about here, right? He's going to come be the perfect sacrifice for the Israelites, as we read in Acts 5, right? As we see in Matthew chapter 15, 24, right? So that's what's going to happen here. With this perfect sacrifice, because you asked, what is that time period for? That's what we're reading in Acts. It's grace. Grace is a dispensation of time for the Israelites to come back to the law that they discontinued from. Give me Jeremiah 17 and 4, right? I got to finish reading Hebrews 10. I wasn't going to read that yet. I just told him to hold it. I'm trying to finish what you said, right? That's why y'all don't understand the Bible. Y'all don't know how to get back to the different precepts to explain things. I'm not being condescending. I didn't say y'all don't understand the Bible. Everything I've said is for y'all to understand. So you want me to say smooth things, not right things? You want me to say it smoothly?